Coming up on 5 Minute News. CDC urges COVID vaccines during pregnancy as Delta surges. Taliban complete northeast Afghan blitz as more cities fall. And largest ever California wildfire grows. It's Thursday, August 12. I'm Anthony Davis. The US Centers for Disease Control and Prevention urged all pregnant women on Wednesday to get the COVID-19 vaccine, as hospitals in hotspots around the US see disturbing numbers of unvaccinated mothers-to-be seriously ill with the virus. Expectant women run a higher risk of severe illness and pregnancy complications from coronavirus, including perhaps miscarriages and stillbirths. But their vaccination rates are low, with only about 23% having received at least one dose, according to CDC data. The vaccines are safe and effective, and it's never been more urgent to increase vaccinations as we face the highly transmissible Delta variant and see severe outcomes from COVID-19 among unvaccinated pregnant people, CDC Director Dr. Rochelle Walensky said in a statement. The updated guidance comes after a CDC analysis of new safety data on 2,500 women showed no increased risk of miscarriage for those who received at least one dose of the Pfizer or Moderna vaccine before 20 weeks of pregnancy. The analysis found a miscarriage rate of around 13%, within the normal range. The new guidance comes amid a surge in COVID-19 cases, hospitalizations and deaths in the US, driven by the highly contagious Delta variant. Some health authorities believe the variant may cause more severe disease in pregnant women and others as well than earlier versions of the virus. The Taliban seized 3 more Afghan provincial capitals and a local army headquarters on Wednesday, completing a blitz across the country's northeast and giving them control of 2/3 of the nation as the US and NATO finalized their withdrawal after decades of war. The fall of the capitals of Badakhshan, Baghlan and Farah provinces put increasing pressure on the country's central government to stem the tide of the advance, even as it lost a major base in Kunduz. President Ashraf Ghani rushed to Balkh province, already surrounded by Taliban-held territory, to seek help from warlords, many linked to allegations of atrocities and corruption in pushing back the insurgents. He also replaced his army chief of staff. While the capital of Kabul itself has not been directly threatened in the advance, the stunning speed of the offensive raises questions of how long the Afghan government can maintain control of the slivers of the country it has left. The government may eventually be forced to pull back to defend the capital and just a few other cities. The success of the Taliban offensive also calls into question whether they would ever rejoin long-stalled peace talks in Qatar, aimed at moving Afghanistan toward an inclusive interim administration as the West hoped. Instead, the Taliban could come to power by force, or the country could splinter into factional fighting like it did after the Soviet withdrawal in 1989. The multiple battlefronts have stretched the government's special operations forces, while regular troops have often fled the battlefield, and the violence has pushed thousands of civilians to seek safety in the capital. The US military, which plans to complete its withdrawal by the end of the month, has conducted some airstrikes but has largely avoided involving itself in the ground campaign. California's largest single wildfire in recorded history continued to grow on Wednesday after destroying more than 1,000 buildings, nearly half of them homes, while authorities in Montana ordered evacuations as a wind-driven blaze roared towards several remote communities. The dangerous fires were among some 100 large blazes burning across 15 states, mostly in the West, where historic drought conditions have left land parched and ripe for ignition. The east end of Northern California's massive Dixie Fire flared up on Tuesday as afternoon winds increased. Burning through dry-bone trees, brush and grass, the fire has destroyed at least 1,045 buildings, including 550 homes, in the northern Sierra Nevada. Newly released satellite imagery showed the scale of the destruction in the small community of Greenville that was incinerated last week during an explosive run of flames. The Dixie Fire, named after the road where it started on July 14, by Wednesday morning covered 783 square miles and was just 30% contained, according to the California Department of Forestry and Fire Protection. At least 14,000 remote homes were still threatened. The Dixie Fire is the largest single fire in California history and the largest currently burning in the U.S. Heat waves and historic drought tied to climate change have made wildfires harder to fight in the American West. Scientists have said climate change has made the region much warmer and drier in the past 30 years and will continue to make the weather more extreme and wildfires more frequent and destructive. You can subscribe to 5 Minute News on YouTube with your preferred podcast app. Ask your smart speaker or enable 5 Minute News as your Amazon Alexa flash briefing skill. Subscribe, rate and review online at 5minute.news. 5 Minute News is an Evergreen Podcast covering politics, inequality, health and climate, delivering independent, unbiased and essential world news daily.